Today I'm going to be doing a response video for Kendrick, am I saying that right? Kendra Dice, put the name up here somewhere. Kendra Dice, man, I'm glad I found your channel. I've been watching all the MP related videos and reading all the articles, and I found that you've given the most information. Thank you very much, I appreciate it. Some questions he had. His girlfriend is in the military police 1 station unit training, basic training in AIT for MPs. She left 2 weeks ago, so it means she has 17 weeks left. I'm going to start off with your first question. Your first question to me is, you know, I've done basic training a long time ago, 9 years ago, obviously. She is at Fort Leonard Wood. I read some horror stories about sexual harassment, even rape. And it says, how are females treated in the MP? The way females are treated in the MP Corps, I never knew there was female MPs when I first joined. I really didn't. So when I went to Fort Leonard, Missouri, I saw 38, female platoon of MPs, and I was like, wow, there's females here. I didn't know that they served in the military police corps. It's actually one of the only. I mean, there's obviously support elements too, which MPs are, but actually combat orientated, of actually going out of the wire to do missions. The MP Corps is one of the few that females that actually do. Now there's 88 mics, which are drivers, mechanics and stuff. Recovery teams. They have all sorts of other females that are intertwined, but they don't usually send them out. But for MPs, we have no choice because there's so little of us. So how are females treated? In basic training, they were treated like everybody else. Obviously, they were treated on the same level, and it's in the 19 weeks. They were treated, they had to do the same tasks all the males had to do, except for the physical training. The physical training tests, PT tests, are a little bit different. The scales are a little bit different. You can look them up on the internet. They're a little bit askew, where obviously because males and females are made different. And then in a regular unit, when I spent 6 years at Carson, I know that we attempted to treat them the same, but that always didn't work, because sometimes some females can't pull their own weight, and a lot of the younger soldiers fall into the category of helping female soldiers, when that shouldn't be the norm. A female soldier should be able to do everything that a male soldier should do, in my eyes. If she can't pull her own weight, then there's plenty of other MOSs out there and other jobs that can be done besides being a military policeman. Now, in saying that, there's some females that weigh 80 pounds, so it's understandable. She can't lift a 150-pound rucksack, or a 150-pound crate or whatever. Obviously, you're not supposed to do it anyways. It's a two-man lift. But to do just the same tasks, like ruck marches, running, PT, stuff like that. Everybody's built different, obviously, and I know I conk out every once in a while. But how are they treated? It depends on who's in charge. It depends on who the NCO is, who the officers are. Sometimes females are treated a little bit better because the commander's a female or the first sergeant's a female, but that's all favoritism. That's all a whole different video. But for the most part, they're treated, equal across the board, which how it should be. They should be held to the same standard as all the male soldiers. So that's pretty much how they've been treated, within my eyes. Now, you get some people's horror stories of, they got ahead because they were a female, or they got held back because they were a female. That's a whole different subject. But to me, they've always been treated fairly. And as an NCO, having soldiers or seeing soldiers who are females as MPs, I've always treated them fairly. I've always treated them the same along the board. And I've served alongside other females as team members and squad members and platoon members. And I've always treated them fairly and the same, and we do all the same things. I've never really picked up rucksacks for females that can't carry them. I'm usually the guy that just keeps walking, because if I got to carry mine, I'm not going to carry yours, even though, you packed it yourself. So, some guys do. Some guys will stop and help them, and that's where some of the females get ahead, because, a helping hand, because they are females and they can't carry their weight. So, it all depends. But for me, just fairly across the board. Your second question is, I know that you've done yours a long time ago, basic training. Does sexual harassment and rape happen often your statistics are correct. I actually double checked them myself, and my wife Sophia told me that 1 in 3 are sexually harassed. Now, sexual harassment doesn't have to be. It's they take sexual harassment in a broader spectrum. It's almost like someone saying, not me, but someone saying, hey baby, you have a nice, butt, or hey baby, you have a nice body, or hey baby, blah blah blah. That's actually, some form of sexual harassment. You're being harassed by somebody. So, in saying that, and it escalates to sexual assault and so on and so forth, on to rape. Now, rapes are about, I think they said like 1 in 4, 1 in 5, I can't remember your exact statistics, but it's true in all of the Army. Now, the MP Corps you're asking about, I don't have the statistics for the MP Corps, but personally, I've only seen a sexual harassment thing happen in 9 years that I've been in, maybe 15 to 20 times with MPs. So that's 9 years. 9 years of experience, 9 years of seeing cases, 9 years in the actual company that I was a part of. Actually, I take that back, in the battalion. So there's a lot of people, about 400 people, all the rotations coming through, coming out. So I mean, it happens. It happens anywhere. Even civilian jobs, it happens. So you can't say that it, happens more or happens less in the military. Now, you're put in situations in the military that offer opportunity for some soldiers who are like that, where they're out in the field late at night and they, they have an opportunity, so they do it, and there's a lot of, deterrences on that. So don't think that it always happens like that. So, moving on. So I don't know if I answered it entirely. I mean, it happens, doesn't happen all the time. In basic training, less, because there's drill sergeants there almost, actually, I take that like 24 hours a day, there's a drill sergeant there. So, second question, can she have her cell phone after the BCT part of OSUT? Okay, this is a real quick one. So, it depends on the company. I can't comment on mine. I never got a cell phone. Never got a cell phone in 2002. And that was Delta Company 795. So, it depends on what company you're in. I know that Charlie's pretty lax, I've heard. And I spoke to a drill sergeant who was there 2 years ago. So, and that drill sergeant said that it all depends on the company, and that's true. So I can't answer your question about cell phones. But in saying that, it all depends. So maybe after basic training, when they go into the blue phase or gold phase, they can have their cell phones on their personal time, which would be in the evening, Missouri time, and on the weekends. Then free time, you have Sundays for free time. Write letters, go to church. I ended up going to church for Sundays. Can she have, and last question, daily, they don't get to leave the installation. That's something that's across the board that all the companies can't do. You get 1 overnight pass, I believe, 1, if they're lucky. And they get like 2 4-hour passes if they're lucky. We only got like 1, maybe 2. I can't remember, it's been a long time. But in saying that, so they only get Sundays pretty much off for free time. The thing about Exodus is if it runs through the holiday schedule, most of the time they'll let you go home for like a week. 7 to 10 days they'll let them go home for Christmas and the New Year, and then they go right back to training, which is weird. I know it's kind of weird to go home, but it's called Exodus, and they usually grant it to them, and it's just 10 days of leave. So, and you go home, you spend time with your family, you have Christmas tree, Christmas presents, hang out with the family, and then you go right back to training. So if that happens, it's a good thing, and they go right back into it. Her recruiter said she could be done in 14 to 16 weeks if there are no slackers in her group. I didn't understand that part. I appreciate it. Okay. Now, I remember recruiters lie a lot, honestly. And if I'm a recruiter, I don't want to be a recruiter, really. I couldn't lie to someone right to their face. I really couldn't. But the recruiter might have been blowing smoke up her butt, because I've never heard of anybody leaving basic training in AIT faster. Now, 17 weeks, yes, because of the fact that you're taking 2 weeks out for Exodus. And you still have to finish on time, so they're going to cram 19 into 17. Now I can see that. Now there is no early release. It's not prison, so kind of, but not really. But anyways, so I hope that answered your question, and hope to hear some more questions from people if they have any questions. So see you later.